Hi friends, this is Calpo and Piso. I'm going to talk today about the spirit world and what it is. I explained that in many of my videos, but people don't understand that tempora mutantur nos mutamur in illis. Times change and we change with them. Over 5,000 years ago, spirit and demons and all that, it was simply the ancients related that invisible force that we feel, that we breathe. They had no idea what it was, so they call it spirit, soul, demons, entities in the ethereal world. They believed that the planets were, which they were gods. They didn't call them planets, they were gods to them. They were suspended in the spirit world, in the atmosphere, the air, which they had no idea that was air, so they call it spirit world, the ether. And it was defined in the hundreds and hundreds of ancient languages with the different concepts. And these languages mutated, the concepts changed, and the word spiritus in Latin, because it was basically the Latin with the many variations, and the Greek and many variations, and Persian languages, and all the other ancient languages, Egyptian, the Kemet language of Egypt with many variations, all that started defining the concepts, which today are, in English, spirit and soul, which is nothing more than air in our lungs. And our farts are the unclean spirits, because a spirit is air. So anything that fumes, that is gas, like the clouds, are parts of the spirit. The wind, spirits. All that spirits. Lightning is produced by the bad spirits, which is the wings, which is the clouds. But also, lightning are the spears of the gods, of Zeus, for instance. And the messengers of the gods are birds, anything with wings. And the rays of the sun god, are penises that fertilize the earth. And all that it changes, the concept changes. And today, believing all this spirits to be really entities in the living, that we have a soul and all that, is for people that are extremely ignorant, or they suffer from a psychosis, an intellectual stagnation, theotardism. Theo means God or imaginary friend, and tardus is late, delayed, slow, which theotardism means retarded because of a God belief. See, that's the word I use. Because all the words of today are engendered by Christ psychosis infected people over 1700 years ago that were in charge of the education, in charge of creating all the languages that evolved from the Latin and Greek. So today, all the languages that we see are Christianity-induced, Christ psychosis-induced languages. And they own the concept, they create the concepts, they distort reality, so they stagnated the intellect. So when you speak English today, you're speaking a language that is influenced by Christ's psychosis from ancient times, with wrong concept, wrong things, and the many variations of English, because there's not only one. And right now I'm speaking American English from Arizona. Howdy, dude. See, it is just a vernacular. So I'm going to explain that today. And some preachers are saying that that the farts are demons from the gays, are awful and terrible, and they don't know the Bible. Is gay people are condemned, and they're stink and all that because it's stinking of the. That's all bullshit, because the imbecile doesn't realize that it's gas in our colon, in our anus that comes out, and that gas from all the food that we eat and different things that we eat are nothing but gas. It's nothing but just a natural thing of in nature. But to them, they are the unclean spirits. It was the ancient world believing it to be the unclean spirits. So air is the soul. There it is. Christ-psychotic preachers see demons everywhere, even in farts. They are psychotic people, and they spread the illness in churches, corrupting the brain of children with their garbage of the 12th century. And farts are composed of microbial pheromones. So we know that we are evolutionary primates that create thinking with our brains. When our brains malfunction, they're genetically defective, born genetically defective, then it is fair to say that the brain suffers from a mental illness or a neurological disorder. And all religions without exception, accept imaginary friend or foe irrational beliefs as reality. In other words, apophiba. All religions have apophiba, imaginary friend or foe irrational belief acceptance. As well as all the schizophrenias. It's a new term, by the way, created about in late 1800s. The term schizophrenia, split mind. And there are many. We are all crazy apes. And many terms in neurology, in the study of the brain, since Sigmund Freud and all that created because everything was controlled by Christ-psychosis. Remember that, for 1700 years. They stagnated the intellect. They impede progress. Look at the Christ-psychosis infected Republicans, the imbeciles controlling the United States of America, the Christ-psychotics. You can see why they stagnate the intellect, and they are very theotarded and dumb and stupid people, racist, homophobic, immoral, intolerant. And it's all thanks to the terrible disease of the brain, which is some begot belief, which is Christ-psychosis. In Jerusalem, they call it the Jerusalem syndrome. It's an anomaly of the brain that makes people accept irrational concepts and beliefs as if were true. Now, let me go back to 2011. Here I am, 2011, speaking to you the truth. The brain is amazing organ. There are the universes within. It's absolutely amazing. There are more connections in our brain than galaxies in the universe. So the bizarre metamagical beliefs at the root of all religions, and also at the root of a schizoaffective disorder, is a sign of brain malfunction. Psychologists and neurologists and all that would say that religious beliefs are not the same like a neurological disorder as a schizophrenia. They don't know their ass from the hole in the ground. Sorry to tell you. And if it quacks like a duck, flies like a duck, swims like a duck, well, you know what it is. It's definitely not a platypus. Something that kind of baffled the ancients. The air, the spirit world, what we have in our lungs, when we breathe, the force we breathe, that's the soul. Because God, heaven, demons, spirits do not exist. We're in the 21st century, not the 6th. Enjoy. Pick up the air, the sacred air, the spirit world with it, like all the gods did in ancient time. This is sacred, representing Apollo, the symbol of the sun. These little tassels that floated in the air like birds, like the spirit world. You can see them here in Akhenaten and Nefertiti, 3,500 years ago. And you can see them in their sacred hats with the tassels floating in the air. Then the Romans copied them, and you can see that all the goddess represented with this clothing that they put over their heads, trapping the air. Let's keep in mind, we began as a sperm, as swimmers, with a bundle of DNA. And then we evolved in a cave of creation, and we emerged with a blank brain like this. And tassels on the garments and also on flags represented, of course, the sacred world, the spirit world. And you can see them here in the Veil of the Mysteries. The lady is covering a phallus, a sacred penis Christ. Things in here, these are all sacred. Just like the Chinese emperors, divine emperors, that had tassels all over in their crowns, like little curtains, moving around with little balls of spheres that were also sacred. With ribbons on the rear of this crown of the Roman emperor and god Claudius.
3 tassels with knots, very similar to the knots of tassels that religious Jews wear today.
Sacred, all sacred.
On one gorgeous fresco of ancient cities.
The Roman Empire copied all the religions and traditions from the Roman Empire. Either the locks. Look at this. It's in India. Also, they have their traditions with. This is the moon goddess Sin. Notice also Venus, the star, the life giver. Here is a personification of a country that was fighting the Romans. One can see these ribbons that represents the air in the Arapakis Augustae, the altar of Augustus, which is in the shape of a cube, which means a vagina. It's like a vagina. You see the bucranium. You see the also the entheogens, the sacred sacrament. Here is a tropaium of Caesar the Christ that has a lot of symbolism. With the tassels and on a tree that comes up and forms this god, this Roman emperor, Christus. And you can see the little tassels, the little ridges. They were copied by the Catholic Church, all of it. But all this is a representation in the queer eyes. You can see the ribbon. When you tie a knot is sacred. It represents the gods also. Everything was symbolic of gods. In the vestment, in the actions, in everything. When you move a piece of cloth above your head, and you cover your head, it's also a symbol you try to trap the air. Here you have the hallucinogenic mushrooms, and you have the tassels on one of the Persian rulers, Tiklak, I believe he was, and the goddess Sin, again, you can see the little tassels, with the symbol of a star and the moon. And this is one of the criminals, the Barberini Pope, Urban VIII. And notice the tassel, all copied from the Roman Empire. Everything was copied from there. Even look at this, the cardinal hat, all with all this bunch of little ribbons and things, this embroidery, all sacred. They have to kiss it before they wear it. And they have to put it on in a certain way. I mean, they have all this symbolism. And you see the Cairo also. Here you see all these bishops and priests and all that, and the Pope. Here we have a Japanese Shinto priest also wearing the ribbons, and a Tibetan procession with the Dalai Lama. And look at the umbrella, all with ribbons. They have to kiss the big ceremony. I don't think they do it today. I mean, the Arabs don't do. But in ancient religion, everything was sacred. And everything was related to penis Christ. This, the lore of creation. That in the 5,000-year-old Egyptian religion created the world by an act of masturbation and autofellatio, using his hand that represents his female side, ingesting the semen that would create everything, spitting everything into existence. And these are the facts. And there's souls, the spirit world. Everybody bows, they are submitting. Islam submission means that you want to be ravaged and penetrated by the Lord God, the penis. Abrahamic religions, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam are actually originated in Rome. They are the cult of the god and city Julius Christ, Julius Caesar. His comet that appeared the 20th of July, 44 BCE. What I'm saying here are facts with the evidence to back them up. Read this book. The big Caesar's star, the comet, it was adapted later on in Christian mythology with the Star of Bethlehem. That's where the Catholic Church got their Cairo or initials of Christ from. All this garment was sacred. The little tassels here, everything is sacred. And this represents the air. And this represents the god Apollo. Everything was sacred. Because you're in the Catholic Church, all the garments, and you kiss them, and you do all these ceremonies. As I was explaining, there is no God, there is no hell, there is no angels, afterworld, nothing. Basically, the spirit is the air in our lungs, and the spirit world is simply the atmosphere, the air. 40,000 years ago, and then 10,000 years ago, when religion began to be, societies began to organize religion, seeing the things that they didn't understand as gods, including the stars. Well, in the air, they couldn't figure out this force. Clouds, birds floating in this mysterious force that we also have. It's called the spirit world. In Egypt, they become castles. Anything that you do this with, this was mysterious. Why this thing happened? They don't understand this. So this became very sacred. So all this was used in all the garments as religion, as a sacred object. So this simple thing here from my robe, these are sacred. They're holy and divine. That's recently all the priests and all over. And you have that in Chinese priest, in Japanese priest, even in Mayan priest with all the hairdo, with all these things. The Mayan, the Peruvians, the Incas. Everywhere you have these mysterious objects. They are like ribbons, but that's where it comes from the air. So this is considered sacred. You can see, watch a Catholic priest. They all have ribbons. Rabbis, imams, they all have the little tassels. And the Romans, they use it in the cuirass and also in the outfits. And you see the Romans, they had this, in the garments, this little leather strips that protected their penis Christ, their sacred organ of creation. And they were all around there. So all these are sacred. The Chinese emperors, the crown, as you saw what I was in my video, the clips, they have these little things like a curtain flying around. This is all sacred because it comes from this. And you see the Catholic priests, they kiss it. And they have all these ceremonies. They all come from the Roman religion. Everything. All the Abrahamic religions, Christianity, Judaism, Islam, and many, many more, they all originated, organized, and combined from many other ancient religions, including the Egyptian religion and the Assyrian and all those, Hellenism and all that were combined, and the Roman Empire molded them, formed them into what is called now Abrahamic religions. So from Rome originated, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, and they all mixed together with the thing that really kicked the religions of the Abrahamic religion was the sacrifice of the God and Savior Julius Caesar, the Christus, the Pontifex Maximus, the great builder of bridges. That by luck he was sacrificed, he was killed, and then a comet appeared. And when the moment that the comet appeared, Octavius, his heir, said, "Hey, this confirms that he's a god, son of Venus, equated with Jupiter, equated with Ahura Mazda, equated with Yahweh with the little letters, equated with all the different gods, equated with Apollo. So all blend is the same God with different names." That's what they've been worshiping all the time. Julius Caesar the Christus, and his son Augustus, the Son of God, also combined with him, forming the Trinity. The Spirit, God the Father, Julius Caesar, God the Son, Augustus, the Son of God, and the respective geniuses, or the Spirit that combined both of them. So it's three people. Three gods in one true God, but three gods are equal. So it was a mystery to them, but not to me. Hey, we create God with the brain. Pace Dio.